Casey, I'll start with you. You're following reaction from congressional Republicans to all of this. What are you hearing?
Let's just say, Mika, that the assessment from congressional Republicans is not quite as rosy as the president's self-assessment of his debate performance on Tuesday night. We have obviously chronicled the number of times that Republicans have failed to tell the truth, I guess you may put it, about the president or express condemnation for him and what we've seen him do or say. That was not the case yesterday. Take a look at some of the reaction from Republicans.
Do you find that concerning, the president's refusal last night during the debate to condemn white supremacist groups?
I think he misspoke. I think he should correct it. If he doesn't correct it, I guess he didn't misspeak.
With regard to the white supremacy issue, I want to associate myself with the remarks of Senator Tim Scott. He said it was unacceptable not to condemn white supremacists. And so I do so in the strongest possible way.
He should unequivocally condemn white supremacy.
He has been very clear that there is no place for racism in this country.
Did you think that Mr. Trump was presidential last night in the debate?
I thought it was an embarrassment last night, the debate.
Did you watch the debate last night?
Sure did.
What did you think? It was awful.
Awful. Others called it embarrassing. Yeah. It was the reviews were not good, obviously. And you know, Tim Scott has been a voice on issues of race for Republicans. He has been pretty straightforward at many times, and he basically said, "Well, I hope the president misspoke. If he didn't misspeak, then you know, that's a problem." And obviously, we saw and we already showed this morning what the president had to say. That was after Tim Scott's remarks that the president went down to the lawn and basically, you know, did not take back what he had said in the debate on Tuesday. So all of this, you know, is a huge problem for the Republicans that were just parading past those cameras. This is the kind of thing and the reason why they are so worried that they may lose the Senate, and that, in fact, if they do lose the Senate, it could be a landslide, especially if you look at those numbers out of South Carolina that we saw late yesterday.
Well, and like you didn't Jake, see this coming.
Yeah, and Jake, you know, we had said earlier, Ned Luce was talking about Russia as it pertains to Putin's propaganda to undermine the legitimacy of American democracy. If Putin had tried to do as effective a job as Donald Trump has done over the past month in undermining confidence in American democracy, couldn't have happened. Well, let's move that to domestic politics. If a Democratic political wizard had tried to do more damage to Republican senators' chances of getting reelected over the past month, they couldn't have done it. When you look at what Donald Trump has called top military generals, when you look at what he was quoted repeatedly by members on his own staff of saying about those American heroes who gave their lives to this country in battle, what he said to Bob Woodward. You look at the Supreme Court choice, what it's doing to support in suburbs, what it's doing to support in women, with women voters. And again, not particularly Amy Coney Barrett, but just the entire process being rushed through. And now you look at this white supremacy talk and the fact that he just cannot say, I condemn all white supremacy in the harshest terms possible. This is damaging Republicans in the place, you know, parts of the electorate where they can afford to be damaged the least, in areas where people like even Joni Ernst have found themselves in a difficult race because her support is melting away. Again, because of all of these groups that Donald Trump continues to offend.
That's right. The Republican Party is in a certain state of absolute chaos in this, in laying out all the things that you just said. You have a president who is suggesting to a Republican Party that needs its base to vote that they shouldn't vote because the election is rigged. You have a Republican Party which is losing support in the suburbs. When you got to Congress, Joe, those suburbs until 2010 12 were the base, not only the base of their support, the absolute bedrock of their support. Republican and Donald Trump is just taking a bat to those kinds of supporters and betting that if he turns out the reddest of red, that he could win the presidency. And it's a really difficult bet. It's a really difficult thing for members on Capitol Hill to contend with. I've never seen, and Casey laid it out so well there. I mean, you just see now that the Republican Party is looking at its standard bearer here 33 days from Election Day and saying, we can't hitch our wagon to this guy until the end. We have to show some space here when it's advantageous for us. And I think that's what you see. And I can't tell you just the alarm that's going off in both House Republican and Senate Republican circles. I mean, in the House of Representatives, this has gotten no attention. I should write about this soon. I mean, House Republicans can lose another 5 to 15 seats. We're looking at, I mean, that's the estimate that I keep hearing from Republicans. So, I mean, it just doesn't look good. That's the banner headline here for Republicans on Capitol Hill.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.